Hello all of you little demons, Jules here for WhatCulture.com, back with another episode of These Things Suck, a format where I basically shorten my lifespan as I get my blood all fizzy talking about things that annoy me in the film industry. And today we're talking about film villains. And there's a common adage amongst certain groups that basically say that a film is only as good as its villain. And there is actually quite a lot of weight to that argument. I mean, would Star Wars have been so impactful without Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine? Would Inglourious Bastards have been so utterly engaging if it wasn't shooting Hitler in his rat face? Would I have lost so much sleep if No Heart from Care Bears wasn't so goddamn terrifying? Seriously, he's got a don't leave me with your kids vibe. In short, absolutely not. However, there's a fine line between creating a maniacal villain and a scenery-chewing carrot who doles out evil actions for the sole purpose of being evil and operating without even the most basic of film logic. And guess what we're covering today on this not list? So gather round, charge your death rays, and let's all laugh maniacally at some absolute chumps who wouldn't even pass as a fucking Scooby-Doo villain. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, this is not a list, and this is These Film Villains Suck. Oh, Turl, you useless pinecone-headed fool, you are so hilariously ineffective, aren't you? This is the thing. Battlefield Earth, for me, is always kind of a sick, guilty pleasure, because there is some strange, perverse, skin-crawling pleasure that I get from watching this absolute whale of a stinker, but mainly it's down to just how useless, how utterly ball-bag useless that Turl is. But he is definitely not helped because as a character, he is shot in the head, the face, and the back by the film's plot. Because, my god, they make him do some stupid stuff. Now, if you've never seen Battlefield Earth, then first off, lucky you because it is hot garbage, but also it is a film about aliens known as Cyclos, I know, enslaving a post-apocalyptic Earth and making the survivors dig for gold. I know. That's right, bloody gold, the most classic evil film trope of all, that all of their actions, all of his world-destroying is done in the name of cash for gold's wet dream. And if this sounds stupid, then fret not, because Turl is even stupider. You see, he constantly tells stories of how his people took over Earth in just 9 minutes and how they are superior to them in nearly every way, which, don't get me wrong, would normally make for a truly detestable villain. But at the same time, this superior being gives his human captives a plane, leaves them completely unsupervised, allows them to discover Fort Knox and a hidden military cache underneath, train themselves, and leads to his own downfall just because he wants some fucking gold. Oh, I know. But you know what the best thing about this is that even when the gold is actually delivered to him, he doesn't bat an eyelid when it's not just in lumps that you dig from the ground, but pressed into gold bars. He just looks at it and he's just there like, yes, this looks like the sort of thing that I should be receiving. No, you nose plug Nimrod, question it. How incompetent a villain are you? It's just stupid moment after stupid moment in this film, and thanks to the comically terrible angles that the action is shot at, it looks like a school project made by somebody whose spirit level is more than a little broken. The only fun thing about Turl's performance is the fact that John Travolta seems like he's having the time of his life, chewing so much scenery that if you look closely you can see little bite marks in the trees. He is having a whale of a time. Just to look at how many times he laughs in this film for starters. But you know what will always make me laugh? What will always give me a little bit of happiness? It's this scene where he shoots cows to prove that he's a decent marksman. Editor, please put up the full clip of him just shooting cows, because I'm done talking about him. So, some villains aspire for world domination, others want wealth, and, some are fucking plants. I remember the exact moment in the cinema that I knew that The Happening was going to be my favourite banter movie ever made, and it's when Mark Wahlberg started inferring that the plants were indeed the reason why people were committing suicide, and no one in that film's universe stopped him to say, "Are you looking to be sectioned, mate?" And the film takes this so seriously as well, and it's not even a credible threat that we can see. It's not like some P.T. Piranha plant from Super Mario Brothers, which would be legitimately terrifying in real life, or like Audrey from Little Shop of Horrors. No, it's just pollen that we can't see, hitting you in the face like some bath salts and then leading to the most unintentionally hilarious deaths I have ever seen. Like, don't get me wrong, some of these moments, like the row of hanging people, that's pretty chilling, but a man getting his arm ripped off by a goddamn tiger while looking like he's sitting through a lecture about paint drying, or a bloke taking a snooze in front of a lawnmower, well, that's just absolutely ridiculous. But you know what, in all honesty, when you boil it down, this as a villain actually genuinely succeeds. I mean, it manages to get away with what it tried to do. It kills a ton of humans, leaving themselves free from being cut down, and then disappears without any form of resolution. In that sense, on paper, the plants, they are the perfect movie villain. It's just a shame that they're fucking plants. Seriously, it makes everyone in this movie look so stupid, because while this unseen and unknown threat is terrifying, it's only as good as the actors who explain it to the moviegoers. It's up to them to make it real. And it's here that we remember that this was one of Marky Mark's most criticised roles ever, and it was a script that was written with all the grace of an M. Night Shyamalan plot, aka it was so on the nose that it bloody broke it. Cheers. Now, I know it seems a little bit harsh to lump all of Spider-Man 3's villains together as an example of failed movie villains, but none of them really worked on paper. Sorry, excuse me a minute, I've just got to get this. Hello, dialer dickhead, Jules speaking. Oh, Jesus Christ, mate. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no need to yell. Yeah, I get it. You're trying to passionately defend this film. I can already see it happening in the comments, but listen to me. Listen, chill. Sam Raimi, the film's director, even went on record saying that Spider-Man 3 was awful and that he didn't believe in any of the characters. So I think that I'm a little bit justified in just passing a tiny bit of hot piss its way, all right? Right, okay, no, okay. See, this is the problem, guys. A lot of people, they really like this film, even though it was completely savaged by critics and fans of the previous two films. But you know what? Here's a little message for you. Like what you like. I'm not having a go at you. You can like whatever film you like, but it's just bit aggy this side. I'm not trying to be haggy that side. So let's just do what I would usually do in this situation, all right? Down the trousers we go. Yep. No. I can still hear you, mate. Yeah. You tell me why I'm wrong. What makes this film so impressive in how it screws up movie villains is that it manages to do so uniquely and botch each and every one differently. On paper, a film starring the Sandman, Venom, and Green Goblin Coke Zero Edition should have been amazing. Each possesses different skills and each could have exploited different weaknesses in Spider-Man, but in delivery, well, they don't make much Spider sense. For example, the Sandman looked amazing and the CGI work, while a little cartoony, was really impactful. Plus, there was an outstanding arc of Flint Marko actually being the man who killed Uncle Ben. This surely had to have been the driving point of the entire film, right? I mean, it's the entire catalyst for the superhero. And now he finally has a chance to confront the killer. So what did they do with the Sandman? They relegated him to the C-tier villain behind daddy issues and Victor Von Ooz's semen over here. And you know that actually brilliantly cheesy forgiveness scene? Well, it was completely upstaged by Harry's death not a few moments later. And speaking of Harry, what the hell was actually going on with his personal story here? First, he was an enemy, and then he takes a pachinko machine-style bump that was just pure comedy, and then he forgets everything, and now, hey, we're on Team Good Guy again, let's all eat some pie together. Then he has a bit of Mary Jane's pie, and then he remembers he's a little bit angsty, so he wants to flip sides again. But then, oh, look, it's Discount Alfred, your butler, with some plot device freshly served for you. Oh, I'm a good guy again. Pick a bloody lane, pal. You could have lifted Green Goblin light from this film and nobody would have cared, and we wouldn't have laughed at all the terrible and contrived writing which took over his scenes like a symbiote, which of course leads me to talk about Venom. Okay, so starting off, Topher Grace, I love you, buddy. I think that your work in that 70s show as a pipe cleaner in bell bottoms was just fantastic. However, just because I like you, it doesn't mean that I want to see your stupid face every 10 seconds just so you can command a greater paycheck at the end of things. Put it away. Now, Eddie Brock as a character is an absolute worm, and to be honest, I did love how smarmy he was in this film, but his right place at the right time, gotta kill Spider-Man because it's coming to the third act, was just so cheesy. And for a supposed supervillain with incredible powers, he was defeated pretty bloody easily. In fact, this villain's status is demoted heavily because just a few scenes earlier we witnessed precisely how the symbiote can be defeated with sound. So a lot of films operate on a final villain being undone by something that was either a reference to the very first scene that they shared, or some callback, or just some last-ditch heroic effort. However, this was completely undone by the fact that we had just seen Peter use sound to rid himself of the symbiote suit, so the audience was sitting there just going like, just do the bloody same thing again, mate. Spider-Man 3 is a bizarrely enjoyable film. You know what? I laughed a whole lot throughout it. True, it was at things that I wasn't meant to be laughing at, but still, I laughed all the same. But what wasn't funny, though, were these villains, because quite frankly, they all sucked. So we spoke about M. Night Shyamalan earlier, and I think it's only fitting that we end this not list by talking about one of his most divisive films since his last divisive film, Glass, and that is Signs. You see, M. Night is a person that does set up really, really well and manages to take even the most silly premises and make them entertaining. He's got a really bizarre way of making them enthralling to the point where you're just like, why am I watching this? However, across nearly all of his films, there's a huge issue with dialogue, its delivery, and of course, those infamous endings. And here in Signs, we get the holy trifecta of bizarre, all of which culminates in a supreme alien force being taken down with, drumroll please, some bloody tap water. The aliens in question are never explained when it comes to motivations or goals, but they are treated like some immensely powerful invading force capable of destroying all that we hold dear. It's a shame then that they're utterly bloody useless. For a start, their design is so unbelievably lazy that it genuinely surprises me that none of the characters crease up in laughter every time they see them. Honestly, the aliens from South Park Season 1 look more detailed. And you know what? Their physical capabilities aren't exactly wowing me at the moment either, being taken down by a bat, and of course, the infamous wooden door. Seriously, locking it inside a cupboard stopped it. This thing right here, this alien travelled light years on a craft of unimaginable construction, arrived on Earth using methods far beyond our intelligence, and yet was rendered useless by a 2-inch thick bit of wood. Kang and Kodos and the Simpsons running from that board with a nail in was a joke, M. Night, not a fucking jumping off point for your creatures. And yes, we have to talk about it, the water, the thing that burns through these would-be ETs like they were made of wet fucking bread. I do not understand how this advanced race would be able to cross the galaxy, look at our planet and go, it's over 70% water, the thing that kills us all, and it rains all the time, especially if you're in England. Do you think that this would be a good place to set up shop and not even bring a fucking umbrella? It feels like a massive oversight which makes their entire race look abysmally stupid. I tell you, it's a film that makes Jeremy pop up my vein here, which is usually a sign that I am about to have a bloody heart attack. So as a film, Signs is a swing and a miss. And there we go, my friends. That was another episode of These Things Suck. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. If you want to chat to me further about all things to do with video games, TV, film, whatever else you can do so over on the social medias at RetroJ with a 0, and you can catch the gaming edition of These Things Suck over on What Culture Gaming. And also, if you've got the time, then swing by Live and Let's Dice. It's my personal gaming channel that I have lots of modded runs and streams and board games with my friends, and it's very fun, and I'd love to see you over there if you've got the time. But before I go, I do just want to say one thing. At the time of recording, there is a lot of stuff that is going on over in the US at the moment, especially added in with all of the previous stuff that was going on. Obviously, I can't say what it is because YouTube will demonetize us, but you know what that is. And now on top of that, it seems that there are huge sort of ruptures going on within that country. So if you are from America, I hope that you are well. I hope that you are doing okay, because I wish you nothing but love, happiness, and success. Equality is something that we should all be striving to achieve. It is not about punching down, it is about helping others up. And I hope that you at home are doing everything you possibly can to make sure that this demographic, these people that are suffering right now, that are being mistreated, are getting the help and attention that they deserve. Equality can only be achieved if we help each other. There's no point in trying to draw lines in the sand. It just isn't worth it. Help your fellow man. Love him. Love your neighbour. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Please never forget that. And I'll speak to you soon. Peace.